to after further review.
All right. Well, first of all, thank you guys for listening, watching.
We already got some Collins. Julia, thank you. And Kelly, I appreciate you being on.
Yeah. So if you're listening, we appreciate it. And we're going to get right into some fun topics. But first, we're doing a trivia. So you guys ready for this trivia?
Starting off with some trivia. All right.
We're going to break in the trivia. All right. So you guys know Julio's been on an absolute tear recently. Julio Rodriguez from the Mariners. Mariners now, that division crazy. Mariners, Rangers, and Astros. But Julio was on an absolute tear. He had 28 hits in the last 10 games as of yesterday. He's the first player to do that since what player in 1997?
28 hits in 10.
28 hits in his last 10 games as of yesterday.
Since 1997?
Yeah. If you want a hint, I'll give you one.
Okay.
He was a nomination for our AFR all-time team.
Oh, gosh. Well,
a nomination?
He was a nomination.
Doesn't mean he made it.
Does not mean he made it.
Oh, gosh.
Del Crandall.
Oh, Kenny
Lofton.
Yeah.
Kenny Lofton.
1997 was on a tear.
Wow.
Hey, underrated.
Yeah. That's why he was on the AFR almost all-time team.
So I just figured it was a fun one and kind of relevant because we'll talk about the MLB here in a little bit, but that division has become crazy and the Mariners have just turned it on since All-Star break, really. So
yeah, they've been insane.
Yeah, no, they really have. So NFL coming up, always fun to talk about the NFL. And we got our big fantasy football draft on Friday. 14-team league, gets intense. Yeah. So
yeah, League of Leagues this Friday. All the ship folks out there listening, and then Chase, Monday night we have our family league, which is a 12-person team. So both just monster leagues. Our ship league with 14 teams gets a little crazy sometimes. I get scared to draft when I get to like the 8th round. So should be interesting as always.
Yeah, you definitely got to reach deep in those drafts for people.
Yeah, 14 teams, and I think we changed it to half point PPR, but no tight end slot either, and it gets intense.
Oh yeah, it gets messy for sure, but always a fun time. A lot of trash talking, and just an exciting time of year because the fall just reminds you of football. And I know we're not at that cool weather yet, but
yeah,
right around the corner.
Chase got 2nd pick. You got I think 10th, and I'm at 8th. So I'll have to do some mock drafts. I am not prepared this year.
I will definitely not be doing any mock drafts.
Okay, Ryan's gonna go in Joan Cole.
Great. I love it. Then you don't overthink it.
That's true. Hey, we have someone who never drafts and he always seems to do well. So
yeah. Hey, that's the big
looking at you, Garrett.
Anyone out there that's playing fantasy football this year, please just draft. No one likes the older drafters. So just hop on, even if you don't really know what you're doing. The computer knows all. It'll help you out. Just get on your draft.
Yeah. And this year it is online. So there's a luxury. Like you could even set it ahead of time a little bit. Like you could even pick players that you'd prefer. You can set your auto draft if that's what's going to happen. So
yeah, no excuses.
Exactly. No excuses. Garrett, still looking at you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Convenient as ever to do this.
It looks like we got a comment from Lindsay saying go Cowboys. So
oh yeah, I'll be saying a few of those here and there this year.
Yeah.
Might be shaking off the dust and getting some Go Cowboys out there myself. So
how do you feel about Trey Lance?
Honestly, I just don't know why the 49ers gave him up for only a 4th round pick. I don't think he's really going to mean anything. I mean, what's Jerry Jones' son name? Steven Jones?
Yeah, what is that?
Because he came out and said in their last preseason game, he's like, oh, yeah, if Dak gets hurt again, this will be perfect. So I was just like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's not a bad idea. And it's almost what the Eagles did when they took Jalen Hurts. So if Dak does suffer a catastrophic injury, which he might happen again, then at least you have somebody more competent than who they've been able to put out there in recent years.
Yeah, and it's a flyer with talent. I mean, there's a reason he was picked 3rd overall, so it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And maybe it does put a little pressure on Dak, and maybe that's a good thing.
That's true. Know. I mean, Cowboys develop pretty decent backups. I feel like not QBs that'll become QB1s, but they're good. So Trey Lance probably will learn some stuff being under Dak. And I know Lindsey's not a fan of Trey Lance being there, but I mean, for a 4th round pick, it is what it is.
Yeah, 4th rounder is nothing. And the Cowboys can easily recoup that as if they let go of a free agent at the end of the year because you get compensatory picks. So I think you're only as good as your backup quarterback. And if you have somebody that you know that's pretty solid and not like a Ben DiNucci or somebody like that, you have a chance later in the season. So
yeah, and is he 3rd string or 2nd string?
I think
I saw Will Greer was balling out the other night.
Yeah, that was like his trial for another team though. They basically announced they were getting rid of him before that game, but they let him play it out.
When did he get all tatted up?
I honestly don't even know Will Greer before.
I remember
the fact he's like over 30, I think, at this point.
Really? I just remember him out of college, and he just looked like this. I don't know.
I don't think he left college till he was like 27.
Oh, like who was the guy the Browns drafted that was like
Brandon Whedon? He played baseball for 8 years and then went back
he
to
also was with the
football.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Stetson Bennett, another guy who was in college for like 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Will Greer just kept transferring and maintaining eligibility. And then he ended up with West Virginia. And he's been living off that practice squad ever since.
Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you can make it as a backup QB in the NFL, you can make some good money without really having to play.
Yeah, remember Charlie Whitehurst, Phillip Rivers backup? He never played, but everyone knew who he was because he was like just clipboard Jesus.
That's like Chase Daniel.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But we're still rocking the Raiders, I think, this year.
Yeah, still hanging on. I thought he would have been a release candidate, but somehow he kept his job.
Crazy. Josh McGowan, all those guys.
Yeah.
So
this is just for everyone. I know there's a lot of new people listening tonight. This is after further review, right? We're like hyped for the NFL season, and then we just list off like 10 notable QB2s in the league. So we just got
players you've watched in the last 10 years.
A lot of them. Tyrod Taylor's always a good one.
I didn't mean to bring it back, going back around.
Yeah.
But
hey, I mean, when we do the immaculate grid, these are some good names you got to remember.
Yeah. And somehow I'll magically forget all of these names at that point.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I feel like as soon as I see the squares, just everything goes black.
Oh yeah. And we'll get to the immaculate grid here in a little bit. So stay on if you want to try to help us get our first AFR 9 for 9 because we still have not gotten one. I don't even know if we've got an 8 yet, honestly. We usually just get a bad guess early and just put us in a bad spot.
Yeah, we definitely had some 7s, but I don't know. So but yeah,
any 7s are almost stretches too.
No. Any more thoughts on NFL? Just as we're coming close to the season, before I know Ryan's got a quick little rapid Ryan segment here. I'm excited for the Jets. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but it's the first time I feel like I've been excited for a Jets season in years. So
I feel like Ben's love for Aaron Rodgers was like before, like a month ago, James Harden. Like I wasn't really excited for him. I didn't really want James Harden to come, but when he came, I was like, okay, well, if you're going to help us win, I'm going to be excited about it. And I feel like Ben, that's kind of how you are with Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, it's easy if a guy performs for the team and wins games. It's easy to start liking him. So yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Is your dad hype about him?
I think it's the same thing. If he wins, I mean,
I'm
not going to be upset at it.
I mean, they're going to be. They're relevant already.
Yeah, they're relevant. The AFC is just so tough. I mean, you got so many good teams in the AFC. I mean, look at the Ravens. You have potentially 3 playoff teams in that division alone.
Yeah, and you have the drunk baby Browns too. So you never know what's gonna happen with them.
Who knows? They look bad. All right, Ryan, you ready for your rapid Ryan?
Oh yeah, we don't get this segment a whole lot. We should get to it more because I love this. Rapid Ryan segment coming up. And for anyone who doesn't know how this works, it's not as rapid as you may think, but I'm just going to list off a series of questions for Ben and Chase, and they're going to give a quick basic overview of what they think the answer is. So I know Ben and Chase have no idea what I'm about to ask them. It's going to be mainly football related since we're talking NFL right now. And you guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Rapid Ryan question number 1 right here. Will Derrick Henry lead the NFL in rushing this year?
Instant reaction, no.
I'm going to go also no. I think the Titans.
Top 5, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Titans, as good as we had them in the playoffs. I just don't think they're going to be, able to compete with some of those high powered AFC teams. So I think they might be playing from behind more than you'd like to give Derrick Henry the carries he wants.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one-dimensional for them. They know if they shut down Derrick Henry, they can probably take on the Titans passing game. So I feel like he's just going to be limited because of that. Nothing that he can't do, but
that's true. I mean, teams are going to say Ryan Tannehill beat us.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a negative for Henry. He's still going to eat, though, but it's going to be tougher and tougher each week.
Yeah. Did you guys say no because you had another pick, or you just don't think he's going to be there? I mean, it's hard because running backs can get injured. And, I mean, we don't have to dive too much into it.
I don't think he's going to be there. It's on my head. I don't know who I would pick to lead the league. But
all right. Question number 2. You ready? Who will have the better year? Ben's QB, Aaron Rodgers, or Chase's QB, Lamar Jackson?
Oh, my gosh.
I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. Aaron Rodgers is now the oldest player in the NFL.
Whoa.
And Lamar feels like he's due for another MVP type year. The Jets also now have Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. So they're going to do some running, a lot of run game. And I don't think they're going to need Rodgers to throw for 350 yards every game.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with Rodgers. I think we're still going to have a good year, but just as you mentioned, all the weapons that Rodgers has is definitely the most he's had, in years, especially in Green Bay. I mean, they were getting rid of people, and then he didn't even have Devontae for a year. So the fact he has legit wide receivers, good running backs, and a decent offensive line, I think that gives him a really good shot. And he's crafty. He's a crafty guy.
Yeah, I agree. And shout out to my parents who are listening. So appreciate that.
Yeah, what'd your dad say about the Jets?
Said Jets should have a great D, and Rodgers should be good with Wilson, Hall, and Cook.
Yeah.
So, and that's where I don't think Rodgers, they need him to be that, vintage Aaron Rodgers where he's throwing for 350 yards every game. So,
all right. Question 3. Off the field issues aside, will Deshaun Watson receive any MVP votes this year?
Oh,
I don't know if he's ever gotten any, by the way.
No.
He might have gotten like 2 or 3 through like his first 2 years in Houston. But I don't see any way that he would get that unless he goes out and wins 15 games this year. I doubt it.
I think there's a better chance that Josh Cribbs comes back and gets some MVP votes.
Okay. With that, question number 4, is any wide receiver in the NFL right now as good as Calvin Johnson, Megatron, was in his prime?
It's a tough one.
I'm going to say no. I mean, Megatron was double covered, and just stale
triple, quadruple even.
Yeah. You look at guys like Jamar Chase, who are great receivers, but he had this special set of physical tools that I don't really see many guys in the NFL having right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of guys have good. I mean, there's obviously elite receivers right now, but Calvin Johnson was just dynamic in everything he could do. You knew if it was a jump ball, he's getting it. Doesn't matter who's around him. If he was going to be open, he was just a lock to catch every single ball. But I don't know. There's a lot of guys last year that really made me think. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, a Triple Crown winner. AJ Brown has, definitely turned himself into a top receiver. I don't know. I'm going to have to say no, but there's a ton of, if somebody breaks 2,000 yards this year, I really want to be surprised, but it's going to take so much to do it. To get there.
Yeah. I just think physicality wise, there's not a guy in the NFL right now. And I mean, he was also playing in an era where defenders could play a little more physical too.
Yeah, for sure. I like that answer. All right. Number 5, last football one, then I have one bonus baseball one. This one's a little bit off the wall. So Baker Mayfield's been team hopping little bit of the last few years here, and he wound up getting a starting job on the Tampa Bay Bucks with Brady leaving this year. And with that question, would you rather start a franchise with college legend Baker Mayfield or college legend who also started on the Browns, Johnny Manziel? Really off the wall question. I know you guys weren't ready for this.
Okay.
That's college Johnny football. I'm gonna have to go with. He was dynamic. They're both really good though.
I'm gonna go Baker only because I know he's gonna show up to the games.
That's fair. I mean,
Johnny.
Baker joined the Browns at a better time with the organization,
Yeah.
better coaching staff. But Johnny Manziel does still he's still a quarterback for like that indoor fan
Are we sure about
league.
that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, I verified that today.
Yeah, I know that doc that came out. I didn't watch it, but I heard it wasn't like great. It was okay.
Wait,
No,
so what?
never watched film.
Chase, you went
Yeah.
Johnny Manziel
Yeah.
and you went Bakes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Just
Manziel
'cause-
he applied himself. Like he probably had his raw talent, and he definitely could have been a star, I think.
I mean, he had some wild Texas A&M games. I'm pretty sure he knocked off Alabama at one point. Like, I think in college, being a little bit crazier has a bigger reward. It doesn't always mean you're the most talented, but just being crazy and taking a risk like that. Like all of his plays were him scrambling and extending a play or him scrambling for a long run. So really similar to Baker Mayfield, but that also got him into trouble with interceptions. But I don't know. I just feel like Johnny Football at that point in his career, I would go with him. He's a psycho.
Yeah, I like it. All right. And bonus question for Rapid Ryan today. I know I usually rattle off 5. Number 6, and I had to do it because today Bryce Harper hit his 300th home run of his career, which less than 200 MLB players ever have done that. And my question for you two is, will he finish his career in the 500 club?
I'm going to say no.
I'm gonna say yes.
I thought it was going to be the opposite. Ben.
So he's at 300. He's 31. He's in Philly for what, another 7 years?
Yeah.
7
Yeah.
years. I mean, I think he's really embraced Philly and just the team. And he's shown even when he hasn't been totally healthy, he's still gonna put up numbers. So by saying that, counting on him to be on the field more than he has been over the past couple of years. But
Yeah.
I think he's got a good shot.
Yeah. I mean, if he gets like the next 8 years, 25 homers, that'd be 200 more home runs. So
Yeah.
it's feasible. And the 500 club is small, but I was like, I mean, he's got a chance.
And with the DH, I mean, it extends his career a year or two at least.
Citizens Bank Park is not pitcher friendly. So
Yeah, he can golf him out there. I would love to see it. And he definitely is a dramatic player like that where I could just even getting his 300th home run at the time they did. And how many other home runs does he hit in a Phillies uniform that were just insane? A walk-off grand slam against the Cubs. So I could see it. At the same time, though, I just feel like he's going to sputter out somewhere in like the 450s.
no, fair
I
point.
could see that. Yeah. I mean, the question, I guess, with that, because you're saying 500, and there's nobody with 500 that isn't in the Hall of Fame. So I guess the other question is he a Hall of Famer? Will he be a Hall of Famer? Because if he gets to 500, he's pretty much a Hall of Fame lock, because no one with 500 or more isn't in the Hall of Fame except for the steroid guys.
True.
Just a fair point, but that's a separate conversation.
We're not getting into that here.
Bryce has 2 MVPs now, right?
Mhm.
So his 2 MVPs. He does not have a World Series. Classic Nats. Got one after he left, but
I mean, that
doesn't matter as much. And
World Series is not going to be held against him for Hall of Fame.
if he just needs to get back out on the field, I think that would greatly help him because his defense was good. Like he was a good defender. He could throw guys out at third all the time, and he played a pretty solid right field. So
I mean, even just playing first base, he makes some plays at first. I mean, it's not an easy position to handle. I mean, even Reese, he will throw in a clunk play and you're like, what the hell, dude?
what we got going on the rest of the show, Ben? What we got coming up here?
So we're going to talk about some MLB. And I think first we're just going to kind of talk to Ryan about how wrong he was with the Ohtani situation.
How I want it. You mean how I said that the Angels in no way should trade him because they're good and they're going to make the playoffs if he stays?
Yeah. So I'll start, Chase. I'm sure you'll have things to add, but basically, so they got Lucas Giolito, Matt Moore, Rolando Lopez, Renfroe, Grichuk. I think maybe 1 or 2 other guys, Cron and Leon too, but they placed all of them on waivers day or two ago to save $7 million, get under the luxury tax. With Ohtani, they would have gotten probably the biggest rental return ever, like for a player, as far as what they would have gotten back. So I don't think it's unreasonable to say this is probably like the worst trade deadline by any team ever, like in the history of baseball. And that is not, they gave up 4 of their top 10 prospects. Then they gave up some other prospects, and they already had a weak farm system as it was. Their number 1 and number 8 prospects, both pitchers who were in the upper minors, who they could have used because, again, they never have pitching, traded them away. Yeah, it was bad. I don't know what you think, Chase.
Yeah, I've never seen a team go from contending to waving the white flag so quickly and just putting people on waivers. And it's just embarrassing. Like you were saying, they gave up a lot of prospects. And last year, when they traded Brandon Marsh, getting back O'Hoppe, he was immediately their number 1 prospect, and they promoted him right to AAA. And that was a year ago. So then you flash forward a year, they finally get a little bit more talent in there, and then they just give it all away. And it doesn't make any sense. Like, it would have been cool to keep Ohtani, sure, but what are the odds he's going to stay now and you get nothing for him? It seems pretty high. And I don't know. Like you were saying, Ben, I feel like they really could have got a haul and at least been competitive next year. Maybe you don't have to waive everyone. You could still hold on to some of the pieces, but I think it would have been a lot quicker to do that instead of now you have to replenish your farm system and get MLB talent back somehow. And I don't see how that's possible to do both at the same time.
Yeah, and they have a minus 76 run differential since the trade deadline, which is the worst in the majors. And a lot of this, some of this might come back to that Anthony Rendon signing that has been awful for them. I think 7 years, $240 million, and now they're having to save money. Is this because of all of that too? I think this whole deadline probably set the franchise back as far as being able to contend at like another 2 years, like as far as time frame. It was that bad.
Yeah,
I think Ohtani's probably gone now. I think it's almost like sure he's gone.
Yeah, and even if he comes back, he can't pitch. So you're relying on him to fill 2 holes, and now you have to fill that other hole. And I don't know, whereas like the Mets, they like saw it wasn't on the wall and got good people in return. It was like, okay, yeah, they hit eject on the season. Not ideal, but at least they made gains in that process too. Like you shedded some salary and you got people back, and now they're going to contend next year. Like they can get a few people in free agency, they could retool it and be at least competitive again. Like the Angels, I don't even know where they go. Yeah, I don't think you can go any lower than the Athletics, but you're going to be next door neighbors to them at some point.
Yeah. And you have this weak farm system that just got a whole lot weaker with the trade deadline. And you have is Trout going to start demanding a trade? And can you blame him if he does? They haven't won a playoff game since 2009. And that is the second longest time. Fun fact. Do you want to know who the first one is? You guys guess.
Wow, that was a tough question.
I don't know.
2004, the Twins.
And they're about to get one. Well, they're about to make the playoffs.
That's the thing. And then they made the playoffs. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, do you think the Angels thought they could re-sign him, or do you think they were just like, we're going to make a ton of money this second half of the season with Ohtani playing games in our stadium, and we're just going to ride this out? It's just crazy to me. Or is their organization just this bad? And they're just like, oh, yeah, no, we're going to win. And then I'm just trying to get my head around what the heck happened, because Trout's been out the whole year. And then, this horrible news with Ohtani having a second Tommy John. Did they think they were going to try to re-sign him, and that's why they weren't going to trade him?
He doesn't necessarily need a second Tommy John, by the way. The UCL,
really?
The UCL could be rehabbed. I don't know if you remember Tanaka. When Tanaka was playing, he had the same issue. It just depends on the magnitude of the tear. So he could rehab it and not need Tommy John, but you're always left with that, it could break more and then he will need Tommy John again.
Yeah, maybe just get it fixed now.
Be this red flag. Yeah. But anyway, back to the question.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of it was they just bought too much at the deadline too. I think it's okay to add, but if you add smart pieces, I think they just did it ignorantly and just bought people because like Giolito and Lopez, and like they did a lot of package stuff, and I don't always think that's the best. And especially watching the Phillies, they haven't gone crazy at the deadlines. Like maybe you lead into it and think they're going to do something wild, but last year just adding a handful of people, like 3 people to their roster, made such a difference in the long run. It was like just enough to get them over the hump, to have enough people, to have versatility and stuff like that. So I think if the Angels just would have got maybe half of what they did, they'd still be okay. But I feel like they just added too much, and then they were already maybe a shaky team with chemistry, and then it just goes wonky on you.
So basically, without saying it, their like management's just garbage.
Yeah, it could be. I can't ever tell what the read is with them. Like they had a lot of stability for a long time, and then they started switching things up, and obviously it hasn't been working because they don't make the playoffs, but they're still not in the Browns realm where I just hate everything that they do, and everything that they do is a moronic move, and it just angers me because I have to deal with them. But they're getting super close to that territory. There's a real fine line about what they're doing and how close it is to be that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a part of it's they don't have a winning culture. I don't know if Trout isn't necessarily a leader. It doesn't have to be a leader, but a player of his magnitude, feels like they should be or could be. But they also just, I mean, I think everyone could look at the team in the beginning of the season and say they need pitching, and they seem to never address pitching. Like it feels like years that we've said they need pitching, and what do? They hire Anthony Rendon for a massive contract. They sign him. So I don't know. I don't know.
Pujols was a big one at one point.
Was a big contract. Yeah. So there's a lot of issues up there. But yeah, we wanted to touch on that because that was that was probably my biggest brick on the show to date, saying that they should make a run, and Trout still hasn't played a game since. Yeah. Well, I will say they traded in 2019. They traded for Dylan Bundy. The Angels did, which I don't even know if he's in the league anymore, or if he's rehabbing. But one of the guys they traded away to the Orioles was Kyle Bradish, who's been a great pitcher for the O's this year.
Yeah, doesn't he have the same ERA as Garrett Cole?
Yeah, he's probably a top 5 Cy Young guy this year. So just again, another move that the Angels made with pitching, and that was one of 4 prospects they traded for him. I don't think the other ones have done much, but still, this massive haul for Dylan Bundy.
Yeah, who they just had. It wasn't like they just drafted them and developed them.
So no, that was good. And one other news here with MLB, I just wanted to quickly touch on. Steven Strasburg announced retirement. And
officially
announced retirement. He has not, I think, since that contract he signed, he has not played hardly at all. The Nats they didn't have insurance on the contract, so they're still going to owe him $35 million annually through 2026.
Oh,
what a deal!
He was like the hype nation. I remember how I feel like I don't remember anyone as hyped up as him. Like for me, I know there's more prospects that are more hyped. But
the 2 I remember as the most hyped up prospects, honestly, are Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. And weren't they back-to-back years or 2 years apart?
Yep. I think Garrett Cole's the following year. But those 2 I just remember were the most hyped guys. And Strasburg lived up to it for a while. He's just one of those guys, I think, had a few too many injuries, and it just really wrecked him. But I'll never forget when the Nats pulled him way too early in the playoffs his rookie year, and because they wanted to save his arm, and they lost the game because of it. They pulled a Rays. They lost the game because of it, because they wanted to save his arm, and here we are.
Is that your notable Steven Strasburg moment?
Yes. That's a legendary moment. They got so much crap for that.
Wait, so did he get the ring then, technically, that they won in 2019?
He was with the team.
Yeah, he was the World Series MVP, I think, that year.
That's
I think.
I think he was.
We'd have to
double check that. He was still pitching. He was. We'll get Stack Eye on that.
That's a miss that I can't tell Ben to edit out of the show.
Yeah, double check that. But I think, surprisingly, that was one of those really great years sandwiched by Tommy John and then a rotator cuff or something like that.
Yeah. No, 2019 he led the league in wins, was 5th in the Cy Young, and even 15th in. And yep, he was a 2019 World Series MVP.
Oh yeah, that's a miss.
So
that's all right.
Since 2019, he's made 8 starts.
Dang, I was so close.
So since their World Series win, he's had 8 starts.
Yes, and as we're looking here, another quick shout out to my mom and Dev for hopping in the chat and watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Oh, my mom too. She said go Phillies. Yeah. So we should touch on the Phillies because they are red hot and it's not October yet. And I feel like Chase, in the last 2 years, this is like the hottest I've seen Harper in a minute, and Trey Turner is catching fire, and he's playing some nice defense at shortstop as well, throwing the ball over to Harper. But I mean, I'm excited. They're not playing the best talent right now, but they're winning the games they're supposed to be winning and leading the wild card because they're not going to catch the Braves. But I don't know. I think they can get that top wild card spot. I'm hopeful if they keep playing like they are.
Yeah, I mean, they hit almost 60 home runs this month, which is an insane offensive outburst. And like you were saying, Trey Turner's finally getting into form. I think that standing ovation really just gave him back his confidence to just be himself. So it's good to see that he's getting hot at the right point and, leading into September and then obviously into the playoffs, hopefully. But I think we're in a really good spot, up a good place. We've beat up on the teams who are behind us in the wild card. And like you said, we're winning the games we need to. And even if you don't win the series, don't sweep the series, just winning the series matters,
Yeah.
And getting good outings from people. Christopher Sanchez is what he is. If he goes 6 and gives up 2 or 3, that's livable. You can live with that, especially with the way the Phillies do. They just come back in games. Unfortunately, they fell short today, but I mean, they kept it close and it's the really dumpy Angels, and they're going to get one here and there. But, over the last 2 home, stretches, I would say they've done really well.
Yeah, that's a good point you made is the Phillies of like the last 10 years. Basically now you can feel that like they can be in games, like they can come back. Like they don't everyone just rolls over and accepts the loss by like inning number 7. They're within 3-4 runs. I legitimately believe they can still win the game. And that's so much fun as a fan. And got a comment about Brandon Marsh. What does it say?
Well, I think Julia or Lindsay said Brandon Marsh is better hair than Bryce Harper because Dev commented that Bryce Harper has the best hair in the league.
Oh.
Okay, Lindsay hates Brandon Marsh's haircut, so there's no way she said that.
I'm definitely partial to Bryce Harper's hair, but Brandon Marsh rocks a good. He just has the wet look. I feel like if he didn't do the wet look, people would like him more.
Yeah, Dev said your hair is better, so.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Chase, you do have nice hair, Chase.
Yeah, you can say sometimes Harper and I trade hairstyles.
Yeah.
Right.
My steal is.
And he clubbed 300 homers, and you had a couple home runs in your time playing church softball, so don't sell yourself short.
Yeah, I had a few moments, Bryce Harper-esque.
And you played the hot corner, which Bryce Harper can't play third. So
as they're looking around the MLB, one fun thing that I saw was Josh Lowe, the Rays guy. I know there's a bunch of Lows. He's hitting 477 and slugging 660 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. And I thought that's an absolute nuts stat.
2 outs, runners in scoring position. Almost half the time he's getting a hit.
Yeah. So one of the reasons the Rays just win ball games with players that you don't think they would.
He's the lefty though, right?
I think so.
So he probably never plays half the games. If they're facing a lefty, he probably doesn't start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
not.
Stupid Rays and their stupid matchups.
Yeah. No, I mean, between like baseball heating up and
All right. So we're gonna do a quick random box score. So
yes,
bear with us.
We're gonna get to it.
Oh yeah, we're going right now.
The blast from the past.
Random box.
Jump right into it. I'm in. This is one of my favorite segments, unless we get a bad box score.
All right. So now everyone can see our screen. and we're going to get right into this here. So box score time. Let's start. Sport. Chase, go.
Football.
Football.
I like it.
I will go with 2004.
Oh my gosh, you went
gosh.
faster. All right, well, to remember some players, I'm gonna go with I'll go Philadelphia Eagles as my team, as the team. Just jumping right at it.
Okay.
I feel like we're gonna know a bunch of players. If you choose like the Bengals, what am I gonna get out of that? I don't know what week though. What week,
pick a
Chase?
week.
Let's go week 11. Hopefully that wasn't their bye week.
All right, week 11. They beat Washington. Looks like 28-6 here. So let's take a look.
Formerly the Redskins.
Oh, is this
Formerly the Redskins. 9-1 Eagles. They are
Oh yeah.
dominant.
On their way to a Super Bowl appearance.
Quarterbacked by Patrick Ramsey for Washington.
Oh my goodness.
Don't even know that guy.
Nope.
Oh,
All
Clinton Portis, a guest from earlier in the show on the Immaculate Grid.
Oh yeah, good call, Chase.
Yeah. We should have some fun with this Eagles side. Coy Detmer. Yeah, that's the name.
Got Owens on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Todd
just the
Kingston.
stats. The stats are so much different. I mean, like, look, the Eagles, Donovan McNabb only thrown 26 times for 200 yards. Definitely a little bit different of an era back then. It wasn't hardcore passing as much as it is today.
4 sacks too.
Classic
Yeah.
Freddie Mitchell, 1 catch. He had that in the NFC Championship game, and that might have sealed his legacy. That 1 catch.
Oh, T.O. only
Yeah.
with 2 catches that game, but he had a teeter. So,
Yeah. All right, let's go down to defense. What we got? Jeremiah Trotter.
oh, that's a
Remember that
name.
guy.
Jeremiah Trotter was a beast. 7
agree.
tackles.
What's up with McNabb having 2 tackles?
He
Wait,
threw 2 interceptions.
did he have like a fumble or a pick?
Oh,
or something?
We had a
fumble
fumble.
and a pick.
So he made both the tackles off of that.
That's funny.
That is the highlight of this box score. McNabb
Oh
having
no, Sean Taylor, no.
Oh. pour one out to Sean Taylor.
Okay.
Wow, that hurt.
I mean, it
Sheldon
wasn't
Brown. Oh, that's a classic Eagles defensive guy.
Ryan Dawkins, Ike Reese.
Ike Reese. Lito Shepard.
Oh yeah, Shepard was a beast.
Lito Shepard and Brown might have the most insane hits highlights on YouTube.
Ike Reese with the pick and Taylor with the pick.
Oh, classic. What's going on with kicking? Anything?
Kicking
David Akers. 4 for
Oh,
4.
David Akers.
2 for 3. I've never heard of that guy before.
Who? Tom Tupa and Ola Cameron. It's like, was Washington getting their players from Russia? I've never heard of these guys.
Sweden.
Sweden. Classic Redskins. Let's
Is-
find somewhere where no one
His
plays football.
career was 2004, 6 for 10.
The
You know what?
rebuild
We
year
should have
for
this
them.
guy on the show just to ask him about his experience that 1 year with the Redskins.
He's not even listed as a kicker. He's listed as a place kicker.
Oh my
All
god.
right. Well, if we
That
ever
was
get
good.
Ola Kimmerin on here,
That's fun though, and that's a segment we like to do sometimes. Just jumping into something random and
that's a fun one.
take it down memory lane, and all those players' names we won't remember on next week's Immaculate Grid.
No.
So
No, we should though.
I'm gonna do it myself tomorrow, and I'll get like 7. Then I'll be salty. So
yeah,
no. And as we're gonna wrap up here soon.
yeah.
But
we're getting towards the
again,
end.
we appreciate everyone, who's been watching. But we got some big weekend stuff coming up. College football first week. Penn State, West Virginia. It'll be a good game.
Decent
I think.
matchup.
Yeah, I'm looking at. I think Penn State minus 20.5. I think I'm gonna make a pick, an AFR pick.
That's a pick right
Oh.
I'm making a pick.
there. What is it?
Penn State minus 20.5 against West Virginia. I feel like
Oh my gosh.
Dang, that was a quick college football starting this weekend. Was it week 0? So you're just jumping
I
right
think
in.
is this week 1? I think.
I think this is week 1.
Yeah.
I hate the week 0 stuff. If
I
you
know.
start playing football, that's week 1. I hate how okay, first off, the 0 thing really pisses me off now that we're getting back to football because I can't wait until somebody runs out the play clock and we're like, well, it's till 0 and the ref looks. It's like, no, when it hits 0, that's the end of the play. So it's a penalty. When did this all of a sudden change out of nowhere?
Exactly.
Yeah, when it hits 0, it's over.
Yeah. No, lock it down. So Anthony, we appreciate you hopping in here and listening and watching as well. I think for me, Penn State was the pick. Do you guys have any?
Well, your top college pick of the weekend. I honestly have not jumped into college football yet,
Okay.
and I know we're all Penn State fans though, so I'll be jumping on your train, Ben. I'll be rooting for
I like
them
that
with
pick.
you.
I think they match up well against West Virginia, and Penn State's obviously they're coming in the season ranked 7, so big expectations.
Yeah, they definitely have a lot. And also Sean Clifford finally moved on, so everyone that hated him can finally take a deep breath now that he's gone, and we'll have to put our hands and faith in a somewhat of a rookie quarterback, you could say. But I feel like they have a lot of talent, good defense.
No, that should be good. So obviously college football, and then another big baseball series too. Dodgers Braves this weekend. That'll be obviously Philly's looking good, but it could be a potential NLCS matchup.
Do the Dodgers have a chance to not win the division?
No,
the Diamondbacks kind of fell off a little bit.
Yeah,
and the Giants.
No, they got it.
So
the problem with the Phillies where they're at too is you pretty much have the 4 or 5 seed locked up because most likely you're not catching the Braves. I mean, you could, but which means second round matchup would be Braves.
That's fine,
but I don't know who'd you rather face.
Who, the Dodgers or the Braves? Yeah. I would rather. We didn't play either of them last year, did we, Chase?
We played the Braves and we stomped all over Spencer Strider. That's fun.
Right.
I don't know. I would take on either team. I feel like for some reason I feel like the Dodgers are going to be harder. I think it's just because their pedigree and they just have really smart players. Not that the Braves don't, but the Braves I just feel like are an onslaught team. Like where if it gets open, they're going to win. Like if they just see the opening. But
Anthony, appreciate the question with college football. So that was good, and just with baseball, just some big series coming up too. So
and then I just really wanted to there's plenty of sports to watch this weekend, but for my tennis fans out there, the US Open started this week, and I was watching a little bit of Carlos Alcaraz last night, which if you don't know, that's Benny's favorite tennis player, and he chose him before he became the world number 1 and just started dominating everyone. But I don't even know if he's 20 years old yet. He's 20 now. Okay. And I was watching him last night. He faced someone who turned his ankle. So the match retired early. He's going to get a nice rest for round 2. But he is the defending US Open champion. And this is a big US Open to watch because someone has not won back-to-back US Open since like Roger Federer did it. And I think it was like 2004. So it is hard to dominate consistently on the hard court. The sister out there, shout out to you. Tennis is top tier. Just real quick, I know you had a few matches already going into your senior year, so she's playing singles. So anyone in the Southern area, go out, catch a game. She smacks them, serves hard. So, but yeah, top tier sport. But the biggest thing is can Alcaraz win back to back? And
is he ranked 1?
Yes.
Again? Okay.
He is still number 1. And on the other half of the bracket is Mr. Villain himself, Djokovic. And if all goes well, they will meet. And Alcaraz has gotten the better out of him recently. And Djokovic he's coming towards the end of his career. He's 36. Obviously, Federer retired. Nadal has a hip injury right now, so he's not playing. So it's big. But I mean, a lot of competitors go play on Ash Stadium up in New York, and the commentators last night even made a comment about how the Mets just lost during the game because they panned to the stadium.
Does he want a Batman cookie or something?
Sorry, I just had to throw that in there, but yeah, something to watch.
It's a good guess these days.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's and don't talk about tennis too much, but it's those big tournaments are always pretty fun.
Oh, and my favorite player, Andy Murray, won his first match, and he has not. He's come out of retirement. He had a really intense hip replacement like 3-4 years ago, but he made a return. He's been playing pretty well. He just can't get over that hump, but watch out. He was a world number 1 at one point, so I'll be rooting him on.
And I'll just give you guys one more quick trivia as we're about to wrap up the show. So baseball, most of my trivia becomes baseball. There's only 2 players who've had a 300 average or better over the last 8 years, minimum of 1,000 games. Can you guys name
what is it again?
There's been 2 players with a 300 average or better over the last 8 years, minimum of 1,000 games played.
That's it? 300 last 8 years.
Yeah. So a combined like a
yeah
average.
Yeah, over that chunk of time. Oh my goodness. 1,000 games.
Any guesses?
Mookie Betts, D1.
No.
Who'd you say, Mookie?
Yeah.
Ohtani.
No. He's haven't even been.
Oh, wait. I'm thinking. Oh, my gosh, bro.
2018. He was
I'm
rookie.
thinking 1,000 games. I'm like, oh, he played 1,000.
Arias.
No.
I have no idea. I'm blanking.
All right, I'm just going to go.
Chase had the right team, at least current team.
I don't know.
Freddie Freeman.
Yeah. He's one.
Oh, Freddie Freeman.
Huh.
And if you stay in the NL West, all right. His name is Mr. Who?
Machado.
No, his name is Mr. Charlie Blackmon.
Oh,
I love Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, underrated.
What a beast.
He had the Brandon Marsh hair before Brandon Marsh had the Brandon Marsh hair.
All-time beard in the MLB. Monster. How old is he now? Like almost 40.
He's just chilling with that rebuilding Rockies team.
Yeah, he's like the forgotten man on that team.
Yeah, but always cool to see someone stay with their team. The Rockies have had a lot of those guys with long careers, like Helton and Walker, and
Charlie Blackmon
now. So
Yeah,
but I think we're gonna wrap this one up. We
this
appreciate
so much fun.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone for listening, everyone for watching, coming in. We got some big things potentially in the works here for the next, couple weeks, months, and thereafter. Might start doing some guests, and we're excited about all that. And when we know more, we'll announce it for you guys. But yeah, don't forget to, if you haven't yet, on Instagram, AFR Show Pod, follow us on Spotify, Apple. We're on Twitter too. So
yeah, you can basically listen to us wherever you want at AFR Show Pod. And yeah, we try to put some stuff on Twitter and Instagram too. We're having a lot of fun. This, I honestly think, went great, boys. And not that we have to do it every week, but we'll definitely have to get another one of these on the block. So for sure.
Yeah, this was really fun. I'm glad. Thanks to everyone for tuning in too.
Yeah, thank you guys. And we will we'll see you guys again soon. This won't be the last time. See ya.